Someone who reads our Discord wrote this up, I think to vent their feelings about the state of indie comics, similar to the way we used to get a lot of submissions to our old shitty webcomics blog from readers who felt that they had no other place to say what they wanted to say. I asked the person who wrote this one if it was okay to read for a video, and they said they were okay with it. I also asked if they wanted credit or would prefer to remain anonymous, and they said anonymous, which is a large part of the reason that we also got so many submitted posts to our old blog. It was because you didn't need a name or account. Anyone could send us anything and say anything they wanted. Is why we have so many people continuing to come to our current channel or our Discord, because they know they can say here what they can't say anywhere else, what they're not allowed to say anywhere else, including in the supposed anti-woke culture war communities. They can't go and say this kind of stuff that this person wanted to say there. They also can't say it to the SJWs and the actual woke and whatever the hell they are, the wokenati, whatever. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of people coming to our Discord, to our channel, subscribing to us, because they've been realizing that they get banned or yelled at when they notice the things that other people don't want them to notice. And that's where a lot of this comes from, where this person wrote this up. So also for the sake of the original writer, when I do read their sort of post or article or submission, I won't be adding any extra thoughts or interruptions. So it's just going to be they sent this as like a doc file. So they wrote this all up as a thing and basically didn't really have anywhere else to put this or say this. It was too big for even a Discord message, but being able to just embed a doc file, that certainly works. So to start, I will read their entire file. It's not very long, but it should be long enough for a nice video. I've been sitting on this for a while too, because I've been busy with a bunch of stuff. I wanted to save this for, it's not going to go up until the end of the current schedule anyways, which will probably still be another couple months, but it's good to have something that adds to what we've also been saying. So to start, The Off-Road Wreck of Indie Comics by Anonymous Reader. I've been thinking lately about the state of the indie comic scene. Sure, any Joe with an idea and a stable Wi-Fi connection can get a comic done. With the availability of online shopping, YouTube tutorials, software, social media, creating a comic has never been easier. However, it's the other side of the coin I'm concerned about, and I'm not just talking about the usual suspects, the weeaboos, the tryhards, the clinically humorless, or Andrew Dobson. First, a big primer to how exactly we got here. For the last few years, the indie comics landscape has attracted the attention of people I like to call culture war profiteers. They first started showing up during 2015 when an issue of Captain America ended with the titular hero pledging his allegiance to Hydra, a Nazi Party-esque organization. Now, anyone with only a passing understanding of superhero comics would look at this moment like it's just another Tuesday. Hero turns villain, wait a couple weeks or months, hero turns face, and wash the story down with some Pepto-Bismol. The overlords of Marvel and DC have been using shock value schlock like this for decades by that point, but this time people were pissed. They thought that Marvel was getting too political and started being overrun by far-left ideologues, ignoring the fact that the entertainment industry is majority left-leaning. And this is about a character called Captain America. Captain wasn't the only point of ire. Mockingbird, Squirrel Girl, Captain Marvel, and others were seen as the poison of modern comics. So wait, you asked. Some nerds got cranky that comics aren't pandering to them anymore. What does this have to do with indie comics? Be patient, I was getting to that. Flash forward to 2017, and the culture war, please help me, would create a movement that would supposedly show up the big two. The name was Comicsgate. Thanks a lot, Watergate and Gamergate. That was me just adding, and Gamergate. The original form was critiquing the latest outings of superhero comics, but soon branched out into creating their own comics under the Comicsgate umbrella. Let me be the first to admit that I did see some merit to this. It's one thing to be all bark, but you have to have bite too. Plus the idea of a collaborative effort of so many indie creators plus the idea of a collaborative effort of many indie creators creating comics and building up a new industry is very inspiring. But then shortly after, the cracks started to form. The list of sins that Comicsgate committed is enough to stretch around the world thrice over. Constant infighting, custom coin scams, idiotic Walmart deals, and questionable advertisements involving children and the deceased are just a few off the top of my head. I'll probably discuss those another time, but onto the issues I have with them from a creator's point of view. First is the idea that Comicsgate was the first proponents of crowdfunding comics. People usually say this about Ethan Van Sciver's indie title, Cyberfrog, and the people who say this probably never heard of crowdfunding before. If you have a white belt in Wikipedia skimming, which you should, you know that's a massive load, since both Kickstarter and Indiegogo have existed years before Comicsgate was even a coherent thought. Add to which both services have comic campaigns since their inception, with the most prominent being Order of the Stick that earned over $1 million on its Kickstarter campaign. So this statement is a lie to make the movement seem more important than it is, which is not a lot if the Comicron reports are any indication. Second is the chasing away of other indie creators. For me, this is the reason why the movement became poison to me. The movement billed itself as being a safe haven for conservative creators, amateur, blacklisted, or otherwise. What I find funny is that Comicsgate would target those conservatives in their movement instead of their political enemies. What I find even funnier is that some of those same creators were the most talented among the movement. Creators such as Tim Lim, Nurkish, and Doug TenNapel all felt the wrath of Comicsgate and have since left the movement for greener pastures. Tim Lim has a successful comic series, Common America, and his partner in crime, Mark Pellegrini. Nurkish has his own thing, and Doug TenNapel is still working on his 2 comic series. The fact that these men were talented is important because of the third point. Comicsgate books are either late, are garbage, or they don't exist. I can seriously count the Comicsgate books that came out decent on one hand, and I'm not including Bigfoot Bill Volume 1 in this discussion. If you backed a Comicsgate comic, expect it to be like the worst Marvel and DC comic you've ever read, but somehow 5 times worse. Subpar art, terrible writing, lackluster production, and abysmal shipping packages. I'd forgive them for being first-timers, but some of them have experience in the big two, such as Van Sciver, whose Cyberfrog books are notoriously late, and there are new campaigns for variant covers of the already late book, because that's what indie comics need. Variant comics, aka one of the main reasons the comic book industry bit the dust in the late 90s. Most of these campaigns even have the balls to charge $25 USD plus $15 USD for the comic. Also, this is assuming you actually receive the comic. 95% of these projects seem to be in the worst development hell since Duke Nukem Forever, and some just go the way of Fez 2 and are never released. One infamous example is the campaign for Detective Dead, where the creator blew the money on other projects and trinkets instead of the comic he was supposed to be making. Naturally, after a few years of nonsense, people started getting fed up. Which leads to my final point, the chasing away of customers. This is probably the saddest point on here because other creators outside of Comicsgate are affected. Imagine someone, we'll call him Joe, who never backed a crowdfunding campaign. He sees a comic that catches his eye, With excitement in the air, he backs the campaign and eagerly awaiting the amazing story. He waits weeks and months, but there's no update. He asks for a refund. He gets brushed off. After waiting almost an entire year, the comic arrives and it sucks. He never backs another campaign again. I've seen this time and time again from the comment sections of these campaigns, and it never gets any less sad or infuriating. It's not fair for the backers, and it's not fair to the other creators making the honest effort, because that's one less backer that would potentially see their work. If you're starting out creating comics to crowdfund, you now have to try harder to get more eyes on your project. This ballooned more than I expected. I was hoping it would be short as short as those old Harlan Ellson's watching segments on the Sci-Fi Channel. But with a subject like this, you can't leave anything on the cutting room floor, even though I tried to do so. I'll leave you, reader, with this, the wise words that should echo in every creator's mind. The culture war is stupid, nerd culture was a mistake, and Comicsgate is one ugly wreck of indie comics. Don't be tempted to gaze, just look straight ahead and keep driving. So that is their article, that's their thoughts, their submission to our not our blog necessarily, but to Shitty Webcomics in general. Lots of points, of course, that I agree with naturally, that come from having seen it. Like when he mentioned specifically that he's seen comment sections. We've been doing a huge series reading through the comment sections of Comicsgate's crowdfunding campaigns. Several of them, including Cyberfrog, of course, but not limited to Cyberfrog. The comment sections are basically a goldmine of lolcowery. And if you want to see that, if you want to see more of that and hear about what's really going on, that you will never hear anyone else in the supposed culture war talking about. You'll never see Nick Rekieta talk about this. You'll never see Tim Pool talk about this. You'll never hear Ripa admit to this. Any of those people. If you want to hear about it, at all, you have to go to our subscribe. You don't really have any choice. You have to go to our Subscribe Star, sign up, become Paper Pig. And for everyone else, though, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.